So at tonight's school board meeting, some citizens shared their concerns with the board about the search for a new superintendent. Dr. Rod Earlywine announced back in September that he's retiring at the end of the school year. The Sioux City Community School District has started its search for a new superintendent. And part of that process included a survey that was sent out for community members to share what they want from the next superintendent. On October 29th, that survey was shared and presented to the public. Tonight, one citizen shared their concern about the transparency of the search. They also addressed October 29th survey presentation and pointed out they believe it failed to share some of the community's concerns.
What was glossed over, but still part of the documents for everyone to read, was the summary of the answers to question 10, where there is, quote, widespread dissatisfaction with favoritism, nepotism, and internal dysfunction among administrators. Many are seeking a transparent, fair, and external candidate to bring fresh leadership and address the stagnant management.
Now, another concerned citizen said the survey showed that, quote, staff feel undervalued and unheard and want improved communication and support for teachers.
We have got to stop this nonsense of retributive behavior, actions, intimidation, bullying, and feigning support. We have got to stop moving personal agendas forward and focus on making this district more supportive and transparent.
KTIV spoke with school board president Jan George about these concerns. He shared that, quote, we took a lot of the concerns that the citizens had, and that's part of the profile that we built up. He also shared the GR recruiting firm listed the job application and have started looking at the candidates that have expressed interest.